I got from a friend, I got this hand sanitizer. It's a lavender hand sanitizer with a very high alcohol content. And when I spread it all over my hands, I breathe it in deep because it smells like gin. And I used to love Beefeater gin. I spent years in a pool of lukewarm Beefeater gin, Beefeater in and out martini, meaning you put the vermouth in the glass. And by the way, if you are a drinker out there, please enjoy this cocktail. And I'll tell you exactly how to do it. I don't usually give cocktail recommendations on the program because I am a degenerate alcoholic. So many people are disturbed when I do that. But take some vermouth, extra dry vermouth, you swirl it around the glass, you throw it out, in and out. In and out. The martini go right out there. Then you take the gin, you stir the fucking gin. You don't shake it like you're a 24-year-old fucking bartender in West Hollywood who's fucking shaking the gin and trying to see how many cocks she can fit in her so she can pay her rent. That ain't it, okay? You're not shaking a fucking thing and bruising the goddamn gin, waiting for your fucking seeking arrangement state to pick you up and take you to his fucking house. Enough. You're stirring the gin. You stir it. Shaking it bruises it. It's a line from James Bond. It's absolutely true. And let me tell you right now, I threw my life away for this drink. I mean, I threw my life away for this drink. This studio's in an apartment in Hollywood. I am more talented than 90% of people that live in this city, and they all live in castles. So the reality is, I am fucked, and it was because of this cocktail. I have not had a meaningful relationship in my life because of this cocktail. I have very few friends. And the ones I have that I've had for a very long time, I strongly dislike. I have no honesty with myself or others. I am a shell of a human being, genuine shell of a human being. I live to entertain people, to make them happy for nothing, for no reason. I barely enjoy that. It's just what I have to do. I'm built to do nothing else. I'm just a vector of negative energy that will either go into a heroin needle or go into a stupid joke. I tell it fucking, the giggle fucking, the giggle pig, which should be the name of a comedy club. It isn't. Welcome to the Giggle Pig. Don't take out your phones. This is art. But what I'm saying is all of that happened. I should have came out of the closet earlier. I should have did the right thing. I should have went to college. I didn't do any of that. I was in subprime mortgages. I was dumb enough to sell the product to myself. I sold the house to myself. You're not supposed to get so drunk you scam yourself. I scammed myself. The Enron idiots weren't buying their own bad shit So I did it all for this perfect drink. It is a perfect drink. And I'm glad I was an alcoholic. When I look back on the world, I'm glad I was family, friends, accomplishments. I know a lot of people with those, and I got to be honest with you, truly. It's truly a whatever. Your kids are shit half the time. They take advantage of you. They don't value the sacrifices you made for them. Your wife or husband doesn't really care. And your career, you hit a wall with that, and no one really gives a shit. Truly, no one cares. I just watched a documentary about a bunch of comedians that came out of New York City and the alt scene and everything, and some of them are funny and some of them aren't. But the point is, truly, no one cares. No one cares. No one cares. They care about David Dobrik, and they're not going to care about him soon. They won't care about him soon. They'll care about something that just makes sounds and beeps. They'll go, beep, beep. The entertainer your kids like the most will be somebody that goes, beep, beep, beep. So it's over, and nothing matters. So you take the vermouth, you swirl it around in the glass, you spill it out, and then you put the gin, which should be... And this is another great line, which isn't mine. I don't know who wrote this. Vodka goes down too easy. Gin drinkers like to know what you're up against. That's why I didn't like Bombay Sapphire. It's too smooth. I like Beefeater. I like a little punch. I like a little punch in the back of the throat of juniper berry and botanical and lavender. I like to feel where I'm going. Because listen, gin martinis take you to the moon. Martinis are like breasts. 1 is not enough. 2 is all right. 3 is too many. 4 is a party. I didn't do that either. That's something else. I don't know. A guy told me that named Huey. He's dead. The point is this. he had a lot of great. He said one other thing that I laughed so hard it wasn't his, but he remembered it. He goes, he said this at dinner. He goes, she broke my heart, so I broke her jaw. Again, I don't know where he got it. It's probably a famous thing. It's very funny. Anyway, what was I saying?
You were just describing.
Yeah, so the drink.
It takes you to the moon.
It takes you to the moon. You get fucked up. When you get banged up on martinis, you get banged the fuck up. You do not, I mean, it's a boom. Like it's no work. Like you're at work the next day with a pounding headache. It's a real hangover. You got to do a couple of Percocet in the morning or a couple of Vicodin with that fucking Starbucks latte and that Newport or Marlboro Menthol Light or Marlboro Light or Marlboro Red or Parliament. You get the idea. Or vape. The point is, and I've smoked all those cigarettes. That's why I went through them. The point is, I used to smoke basic unfiltered.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid. I was 13 years old. Me and my friend Shay got a pack of basic unfiltered. We got a pack one day of Benson and Hedges. We used to just buy different types of cigarettes. L&M, Liggett and Myers. What about a good documentary about cigarettes? Not about how fucked up they are, about the tradition of tobacco, which did probably have to do. That's gets into slaves, but not that. I mean, a recent, what were all the cigarette companies? And I'm interested in that. I want to know about that. I'm going to die one day because of them. I want to know more about them. Not just a rat documentary like Rat Leah Remini. It was, everybody hates Scientology now that they're millionaires, but they didn't hate it. They didn't mind torturing the kids when it was getting them all the opportunities. I see you rats. You're all full of shit, okay? You don't do something for 30 fucking years and then decide it's not for you. Shut the fuck up. Go out like the fucking mafia and suck David Miscavige's dick. All right. Anyway, the drink. This is my point here. I keep getting away from this. But the drink, you put the vermouth in, put the gin. No olives. Olives are for women. My boss told me that. My boss, who's a guy named Tim that I worked for in mortgages, had a scar across his face. I said, how'd you get that? He goes, I was thrown out of a car at 4 years old through the windshield. I said, that's crazy. He goes, yeah. He goes, it taught me about responsibility. No one knew what that meant. No one asked him. But he said olives are for women. It's a great point. If you have a blue cheese stuffed olive in your mouth, you're a woman. That's it. Or you're gay. I guess we can say that. But even gay guys predominantly are probably, I don't know that they're martini people. Martinis are for people that want to go to the moon. They want to go to the moon with a drink or two. They don't have time to sit there for the whole, they need to be fucked up by the appetizer. I needed to be in the bag by the appetizer. If bruschetta or tuna tartare hit the table and I wasn't in a bag, we had a problem. I needed to have that gin glow on my face, that heat on my face before the appetizer hit the table. So it's very important that you make the drink the right way. Just lukewarm gin in a martini glass. You can even, I didn't have vermouth sometimes. I just do it with the gin. It's nice if you have a martini shaker. You can do it in a milk glass, big bar glass, water glass. You can do that. A little stir. It's here's the thing, folks, and a lot of people won't tell you this. It is classy to throw your life away drinking certain drinks. Martinis, Kettle on the Rocks, whiskey, bourbon, scotch. They're nice. Something nice about throwing your life away like that. Not beer. That's low rent. But like a liquor alcoholic, I always say good for him. That's somebody that knows where they're going and desperately wants to get there as quickly as possible. When you were boozing it up, you drank beer, right?
Light beer.
That's light beer. I mean, how can you even be proud of that? But you didn't even have a good, what did you drink from college to what? You were, to what?
Like 19 to like 25.
Yeah. I would say that was me too. I think I was like 19 to 25 because I was drugs from 13 to 20 and of course from 20 to 25 as well. But I got into booze when I was done with all the other drugs. When I quit everything else, I moved into booze. I graduated to booze. The good old Kettle One on the rocks with a black fly in the glass. From the good old bartenders at Lisa's Lounge. But that's what I mean. You know, I threw my entire life away for that drink, and I don't regret it either. It was a great, there's nothing better than a Sunday afternoon getting shit-faced and going to sleep in your car. You know, getting really, there was a place called Churchill's in Rockville Center, and I was asked to leave twice because I think one of the women in Churchill's, I was drunk, and it was 11 a.m., and I was telling my table of people how important it was that we continued to support the people of Iraq by sending more troops and money. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs and yelling, and a woman started screaming at me from across the, you don't know what you're talking about. And I was screaming, and I was drunk. I think I called her a terrorist. And I was asked to leave. I was really raring to go. I believed in the Bush administration. And then I stopped doing cocaine and drinking. And then I was like, wow. Whew. It's amazing what happens when you start looking at things through the lens of somebody that's, not doing cocaine and drinking daily. You do get a better idea of what's going on in the world. I mean, I used to go nuts. Like, I used to get coked out of my face, put a bunch of friends in my Suburban, drive around really wealthy areas in Long Island and point to the houses and go, they deserve this money. They deserve it. They're better than we are. Screaming, sweating, screaming. And my friends would be like, yeah. Back of the car, they were terrified. They're like, are we gonna die? What's wrong with this guy? I'd be like, they deserve it. Don't take their money, make your own money. And sometimes the car would run out of gas, like in the middle of those, because I hadn't put gas in it. I would just stand outside of the car screaming, just smoking cigarettes and screaming. Like when I say I completely destroyed my life, I mean, I'm sure, there's elements of it that are fun. But, I should have just vlogged. That's what I should have done. I should have vlogged.